Oh my God. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and we made it our mission to help you guys own it. And Fat Man Zoom, we got another great day ahead of us with earnings and all kinds of other crazy shit. But before we get into that, why don't you hit everybody up with a starting five?
We got Sean Ethier, Savvy Money Show, Zion Khan, Dan Dalton, and Oliver Thorpe. You are starting five. Guys, already a lot of activity in there. I appreciate that. Still haven't yet. We got a couple people who are finally figuring out that we're doing the pre-show. We didn't call it that pre-show, but somebody said this here. We're just like giving you guys a little bit of behind the scenes. So slowly but surely, everybody will figure that out. The OGs will help us. But yes, the stream is working just fine.
Yeah.
We put it on mute. But we do have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, earnings. We have Neo, Coinbase, Fubo TV, Unity, Win, amongst others. Excited about those. Excited to discuss those. Closer to 4 o'clock, we'll begin talking about that. Give our predictions, give our reaction as the numbers come in, watch the chart and how they react. But we have a bunch of other topics. You had mentioned before we went live, Robinhood.
Yep.
There's some issues surrounding Robinhood, payment for order flow in the EU. Some discussion around that. Robinhood also had some issues where it sold off. But beyond that, we also had some positive news in the market. Amazon obviously was one of the lone green ones from the FANG side of things, but Amazon has some good stuff going on. IPOF potentially back in IPOF, rumors around that. Big C coming back to the conversation, potential partnership there. So we definitely have a lot of topics in general, but overall, how was your day in the market?
Not good. I mean, everything's kind of been pulling back, so I'm not really like upset about it. I mean, the NASDAQ was up 11 days in a row. So I think the market's just more or less taking a breather. I do see Tesla's down 12% now.
Yeah, it did get below 1,000.
Not yet. We're at 1024.
Oof.
So pretty, I guess, rough day, but I didn't make a whole lot of moves. The only move I made was I did get myself into some IPOF. And then I took the L on PayPal this morning too, because I feel like the chart is breaking down. Thought that was going to go down a lot more.
Yeah. In my longer term account, I did add to PayPal at like 203, just scooped up a little bit of that to start a position in there. However, I do think there's a possibility of it getting worse. However, but from a long-term perspective, I think it's fine. I did want to mention real quick the Amazon PayPal partnership. The Amazon PayPal partnership with Venmo.
Yeah.
And I had this theory, and people were, I think, a little bit more bummed that it didn't make some type of a firm move. The partnership is different in that a firm would essentially, they obviously benefit because a firm is leveraging the existing clientele that Amazon had. So it's not like Amazon should go off because it's going to drive more people to Amazon.
Yeah.
Right. So a firm wins that. The reverse happens with PayPal. Amazon's going to essentially have, I don't want to say they're going to have access to Venmo, but the people that use Venmo are going to, number one, PayPal actually, if you've ever used the PayPal app, they promote vendors, they promote partners. I'm sure Amazon's going to be on there. This could potentially drive traffic to Amazon, and it bodes better for, I think, Amazon than it necessarily does for PayPal.
Yeah, I think so too.
So one thing to consider, I did want to throw out these chats real quick. A couple comments. Dan Dalton said, anyone think Apple will buy Peloton? Do you think that's a possibility?
No. Apple hasn't bought anybody in God knows how long.
And
they just pirate other people's technology.
Yeah, that's true. And Oliver Thorpe said, what do people think about PayPal falling, buying the dip, or too much competition from new finance companies such as Affirm right now? I'll be honest, I don't think if I'm in PayPal, I'm that worried about Affirm. The reality is they actually do more revenue than Affirm does just on their buy now, pay later model. I don't think people realize that. People are so excited about Affirm. And now that should scale for Affirm and that should grow. But the reality is PayPal is going to be close in that case. So I wouldn't be worried about that as far as if I was PayPal. I'm not saying you shouldn't care. I mean, if I'm PayPal, I'm more worried about Square than anybody else.
Yeah. Jim Cramer put it in a good way in that PayPal is more or less in a penalty box. It might take a quarter or two before it starts to make its way back around. But the fact of the matter is that they bring in a ton of cash. The fundamentals are still sound. They're still great. They just had a slow quarter, and then they didn't really give a good outlook for the next quarter. So I would say that buying back in, maybe slowly on the dips. I was looking at this on the daily chart for possible areas to kind of get back in on, maybe some calls or what have you. But this came down to 200, and really the crucial area of support was around 208 to 207. And I talked to this with our level 3 folks and the Chaos crew about this. And I said, if it broke below that, it may get ugly. I think that there's still a possibility that PayPal could come down as low as 180. Not saying that it's for sure getting there, but there's a possibility because there's not a whole lot of support between where it's at right now and that 180 mark. So I think that somewhere around there is where we're going to see the bounce, but the falling knife is still falling at this point.
Yeah. And just FYI, for those interested, as far as Amazon's concerned, that partnership beginning of 2022 should go into effect where you can use Venmo to execute transactions on Amazon.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that one of the only moves you did today was IPOF.
Yep.
Listen, IPOF's back at, IPOF is interesting because it's sort of the benefit of the SPAC, which is typically they'll pre-SPAC, they'll stay around $10. So I've been in it just in the sense of there's not too much fear as far as it going below $10 pre-merger. And so I'm like, okay, I'll add to it here and there. But these are great because it's like a built-in support. However, again, there's news on a potential partner. Why don't you give them the news on who the latest partner is for IPOF?
Yeah, this actually isn't a new rumor, but the rumor, I guess, has been reignited. We're seeing a lot of mentions on Wall Street Bets. And so I took a small chance on this. I saw the volume come in. I actually got in nice and early. I got 35 calls at $11. So like I said, I didn't go crazy on it, but the potential merger is indeed with Discord. That seems to be the main rumor that keeps flying around. But keep in mind, this is still very fluid. And it could change as to who the target is. We've seen IPOF do this where it kind of goes up and down and it fizzles out because the rumor was just a rumor. So at this point, not ready to say that it's for sure going to be Discord. But if it is Discord, this should really start to go nuts if we get any kind of confirmation that that's indeed their target.
Yeah, I tried to find any legitimate source on that, and I couldn't. So I'm
same here.
Not sure where that's coming from. That would be great if it happens. Speaking of Discord, Discord's actually integrating Ethereum as well.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome and exciting. I'm not sure to what extent or to what end.
Yep.
But man, Discord would be a monster. We talked about this before, but here's the thing. It's from a risk reward perspective, it's favorable. And that's the thing. It's like, even if it turns out that that's not, it's not going to happen. I mean, you're really looking at falling back to around $10.
Yeah.
And so risk rewards favorable. The worst case, I think, is sideways and you just, your money sits for a little bit. So I don't know whether this is true or not. I think it's a worthwhile investment. I'm already in it, so there's really nothing I plan to do other than wait. So we'll see.
Yeah, the stock is actually starting to creep up a little bit. The volume's still coming in for this thing, so it actually looks pretty good. It's holding.
What's the volume on it
so far? A volume right now is 9.4 million shares traded. I don't know what the 10-day average is on that.
Got it.
You got it?
No. I'm saying gotcha. But yes, I can pull up the 10-day average real quick.
Either way, it's obviously considerably more than what it normally is, but lots of volume coming in on this thing, and it's starting to creep up. Maybe looks like it might hit the high day again. Just continues.
Yeah. So average volume is slightly over 1 million, 1.14 million.
Yeah. So almost 10 times that just in the last hour.
Would you say it's 10 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
9.5 now.
9.5 million. Okay, cool. There's one other thing I wanted to see.
Look at this. Whew. Come on, baby. I doubled my call options already on this.
That's awesome.
It was like in minutes. Boom.
The interesting thing about IPOF, or random thing, is 40% of IPOF is held by institutions.
Yes.
Which I wonder if, well, actually, I guess that would be, I wonder if that has to do with like a pipe investment. Like as far as like the initial foundry, I wonder how much that has to do with it. I wonder if it's actually like little hedge funds or just the original initial investors that, like Chamath he'll put up some of his money, but then there'll be initial pipe investment. I don't know. But that just kind of stood out.
Don said the other 40% is him.
All right. So Savvy says Chamath waiting for me to sell before announcement. This might be a stupid question, but does IPOF only have a set period of time to make an acquisition? Yeah, it
Yes.
does.
2 years.
So SPACs in general.
Which IPOF is already a year old or almost a year old?
Almost a year. I don't think it's quite a year yet.
Yeah, so they got some time.
Yeah, they do. The other thing, so Sean, we did cover Amazon, the Amazon deal. We just kind of said it's a different sort of partnership, and really Amazon benefits more than necessarily Venmo would benefit. That was just sort of the summation of it. But I think in the long term, we have no concerns about PayPal in the long term. It just had a poor earnings.
Amazon's responding accordingly, though. The thing's up 2.5% today.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. It looks good. And that was kind of lead to the next topic. Is this finally the move to 4K for Amazon?
It feels like it. I mean, the bounce that we've seen from 3,300 to here feels a little bit different. The amount of buying volume we've seen come in here has been pretty considerable. And I think there's a couple of things going for it. Obviously, the PayPal news certainly helps Amazon, but we got Rivian tomorrow. And Rivian, we'll hear the IPO price for that after hours today. And hopefully we'll have that before we cut away from our live stream. So we can give that to you guys. But yeah, this could be it. I mean, if Rivian goes crazy, which a lot of people are expecting it will once it IPOs, that only benefits Amazon even more. If you guys haven't heard, Amazon owns 20% of it. I am in Ford for the Rivian play as well. I actually considered getting more of it today, but I'm going to stay put with what I have. And I think that both of these stocks will actually move with Rivian tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be sympathy. Ford will be interesting. Because at the end of the day, 5% really doesn't matter. 20% is substantial.
12%.
Oh, is it 12? I thought it was 5.
Ford has 12. Amazon has 20.
Did we report initially that it was 5?
We did. We were wrong.
Okay. I mean, that was straight from an article. So,
yeah, I cross-referenced 2 sources as 12%.
Okay. Well, then that is substantial as well. So those 2 companies hold 32% stake, which is wild. Yeah. Why don't you talk about the Robinhood situation?
Yeah. So let's take a look at Robinhood shares right now. Robinhood is trading down around 3.5%. It was down a lot more than that, I want to say, at one point this today. Actually looking like it's selling off towards the end of the day. No, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. The low of the day actually just occurred here. So came down as low as 36.51. Interesting stuff, Fat Man Zoom. So there was some news that came out on a data breach with Robinhood, and it wasn't great. So they basically came out and said that there was a data breach that occurred last week. Affected a limited amount of personal information and a portion of our customers is what they were quoted as saying. And this is just another. It's just Robinhood being Robinhood. It's like every other, I don't know, month or so, something significant's coming out, whether they crash or they don't allow you to buy or sell stuff. I think earlier today with everything that was going on, some people were having trouble just getting their funds out of Robinhood, which was certainly a problem. And then the double whammy comes in. The EU is planning to potentially vote on making payment for order flow illegal, which maybe this has ramifications on over here on the U.S. soil, and maybe not. But there's definitely some things moving around on the payment for order flow side, which we all know is the main source of revenue for Robinhood. So 2 things going against it this week, and it's just another. Here we go again with Robinhood.
Yeah, obviously, the hits keep coming from Robinhood, and it seems to fall out of favor. What hasn't, though, is Coinbase, and we'll get into that conversation. But, I think the payment for order flow is the big news as far as that's concerned, and I'm not sure how they mitigate that. And I feel like this is the first step towards the U.S. doing something similar.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because what's going to happen if that actually ends up occurring? Like if payment for order flow goes away, the brokerages are going to have to make money some other way. Before it was commissions and payment for order flow. Mm-hmm. Then it was just payment for order flow. So now what are they going to do? I think that it's going to be the next challenge for them. And I think that they have a pretty big fight on their hands, at least on the U.S. side, if that does go through. Just to kind of give you some numbers here, Robinhood was the security breach. Exposed names of email addresses of more than 7 million people. So I don't know. I mean, yes, it's, I guess, small compared to how many people they have on Robinhood, but it's still a lot. 7 million is not a small number. I know, I guess it had something to do along the lines of a ransomware attack, which obviously Robinhood rejected, and it looks like they have taken care of it as since. But this occurred on November 3rd, so I'm guessing that maybe they've contacted those who were affected by it already.
Really quick, a separate topic I wanted to bring up, which was Netflix. Just wanted to make everybody aware, just to keep things on watch as news comes in. So Netflix games will be launched tomorrow on iOS. So we've talked about Netflix as far as trying to get into a new revenue stream, a new vertical for them. The gaming side of things remains to be seen how that's going to work. But actually, I was looking at their promo for it, and it looks like Stranger Things is the first game that based off of their Netflix content, but it seems that that's going to be their angle, is we're going to create content. We're going to create games around the content that we deliver, which just extends the life and the monetary opportunities for the company. Do you think this? Do you think? I don't want to ask you if I think you think it reacts, but do you think this could be a substantial piece of revenue? And if so, how long in the future for that to happen?
I think it could be, but I think this is a long-term thing. It's pretty. I think it's more of a crowded space. So Netflix is going to have to do something to actually stand out for this to kind of gain more traction, and I think they will eventually. But it's going to take some time. This isn't something that's going to take catch on right away. I don't think. The stock's looking great though. Stock's looking great. Here it's actually turning green on the day. So obviously, I don't know if it has anything to do with that news, but this thing has been an absolute monster the second half of the year, and it's still holding its gains quite well.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be very easy for them to convert. I think what's going to be the indicator is if they can keep them and how good the games actually are.
Yeah.
I mean, gaming and online game, we've talked about gaming in general is huge and continues to grow. We're just scratching the surface as far as the opportunity is concerned.
Yeah.
But they have something that a lot of their competitors don't have, which is an engaged base. So they can literally, anytime anybody gets on a Netflix platform, they can promote Netflix games. So I think that's a competitive advantage of if you just have a conversion rate of 10%, you're knocking it out of the park. So I think what's going to be key is how much of those conversions actually stick with the gaming platform and how many of them continue to use it. It'll be interesting to see the revenue model with it and if there's how that works. Because as of right now, it kind of seems like it's just part of the Netflix app. And I don't think you pay anything additionally for it. So that remains to be seen. I'm sure at some point that's going to be a whole nother sort of pricing model.
Yeah.
Or maybe they try to get people from both ends, where they try to get people to subscribe to the digital content and you get the gaming for free. And then on the other end, they try to bring people in for the gaming and then it gets them the digital content. But their execution is going to be interesting moving forward. However, we'll see. I mean, all you need to be is the number one app downloaded on the Apple Store. So if the App Store, if it blows up, I think that'll be a good little push in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, I did want to touch on just one trade that I was in. I told you guys that I had been in, and that's DR Horton. We talked about me in particular being excited for DR Horton's earnings. They came in and smashed earnings. They did raise their dividend slightly as well. Stock's up 5%. Just wanted to kind of show you guys the chart real quick. I have calls with a 92 and a half strike that wrong slide. My bad. So I'm up quite nicely on this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. It looks really good today, but I think that we could potentially see a move towards higher highs here. So you can see that I have these way out of the money calls. They were kind of like a lottery type of play. I just said, hey, what the hell? So those are just going to hang out there. But the 92 and a halves are the ones that are really making me the money right now. And we're actually at a crucial area of resistance. So we can get up above 98. I think DR Horton does continue to make the move towards those all-time highs, but that was a really great win for me today.
A stock that we talked about before that I said potentially, I think I said this live, that I thought potentially could be next to firm was Big C. And Big C just announced a partnership with TikTok.
Yeah.
And they're going, TikTok is leaning into ad accounts and ad revenue, and that platform they're going to use that they're beta testing currently is Big C. So there's still some hurdles to get over, and I don't even want to say hurdles, but like beta testing just has to go well for this to continue. I don't see why it wouldn't continue, but this is big news out of big commerce.
Yeah, agreed. Let me pull up the chart here real quick. And the stock is up 5% as a result. So pretty decent bump on there. And over the last, really since their earnings, it's had a really nice move. Now well above the 200-day moving average, looking like it's going to creep its way back up to that $68 resistance. So really nice move here. If this does end up pulling back, maybe watch for a retest of support around 56 or so. But pretty solid move out of Big C, particularly over the last 3 days. But this is just another good reason to be bullish about Big C.
Yeah, I think there's huge opportunity for Big C. I think there's going to be, I think this is just the beginning of a story for them. And once that officially becomes a partnership, I think there's a lot more room for it to run off of that news in general. So with all that said, that's sort of the headlines that have been going on. Let's get into the earnings for today. So in about 7 minutes, the market will close, and then we'll turn our attentions towards the charts. The ones I brought were Neo, Coinbase, Fubo TV, Unity, and Win. Where do you want to start?
I want to start with Jeff or with William Williams for real quick. The only juice that I'm on, my friend, is the beer juice. I appreciate the flowers. But my first one is going to be I think the Coinbase. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. That's going to be the interesting one, right? Because we saw obviously Robinhood, the response that they got, and kind of the revenue numbers that they received from cryptocurrency. But Bitcoin's hit all-time highs just today.
And Ethereum.
And Ethereum is continuing to go crazy. So I think the increased interest and institutional interest in particular is what's really going to send Coinbase potentially higher. I think the expectations for them are going to be quite good. Let's not forget that the Bitcoin futures ETF also went live during this quarter as well. So I think that those are all going to be important factors that I'm sure Coinbase will speak on. And I think that we could potentially see a really nice upbeat guidance for them as well.
Yeah, I love Coinbase. I'm excited about these earnings. Obviously, it gives me a little pause just for the sake of it has run up so much. But there's a lot working in its favor. This company is poised to continue to run if you just look at it fundamentally. So hopefully they give good news. As far as their numbers are concerned, earnings per share estimates at $1.72, revenue at $1.58 billion. Excited about that. PW Coaching bets that Fubo goes parabolic. So Fubo has earnings per share lost 55 cents, revenue 143 million. However, Fubo TV, we should hear conversations surrounding their sports betting piece of the pie, which I think could bode well for it. But here's the thing on the other end, streaming, particularly look at Disney, but streaming has kind of been hasn't been shown the love. I don't want to say it's been beaten down because it hasn't, because Netflix has done well, but I feel like the other streaming companies have seen a slowdown and a little bit of a struggle. And even Netflix has seen a slowdown as far as subscribership. Are you nervous going into this, or do you think they blow it out?
I think they could potentially blow it out. The difference is that sports has made a huge comeback. I mean, we've seen some pretty high numbers on sports, people watching sports in general, people going back to sports, And I mean, we've been seeing, stadiums and that sort of thing packed. So I would imagine that we're going to see a similar response in people watching sports. So I think that Fubo actually could potentially benefit from this. And technically speaking, this looks like it's pretty good at around been this consolidation here that we're seeing around that $33 to $35 area. So if the chart's definitely set up for it, if this has good earnings and we get up above 35, I think Fubo could certainly have a really nice move tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this does after hours. Oh man, I feel good about it. Hopefully they give us some revenue expectation. Hopefully they increase guidance. I mean, that's what I'm really looking for as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Unity loss of 7 cents, earnings per share revenue at 266 million. What are you thinking about for Unity?
I'm a little nervous with this going into earnings, just looking at the move that it's made. Can it go higher? Of course it can. But man, what the hell? This thing has gone from just 152 to 170 and even as high as 177 just today in the last 2 trading days. So there's definitely a lot of hype around this, especially as it relates to the metaverse. So we don't want to discount that. But the characteristically, when we see moves like this going into earnings, there's in particular a sell the news type of event that happens very often. So I think there's some pretty high risk, and potentially high reward going into it. But the risk side is what's kind of got me concerned.
A lot of people are asking about, or a couple people are asking about Plug. Plug has earnings as well. I don't know why I didn't put that on there. Loss of 8 cents, earnings per share, and revenue at 144 million. I'll be honest. I know you don't like Plug, but I think they could have a surprise, and I'm just surprised in general that their revenue, that they put their expectations for revenue as high as they did given last quarter, which was at 111 million. But what are you thinking about Plug?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about it. But I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see. I mean, it's moved up a lot already. So the earnings are going to have to be spectacular for this to continue to move up, I would think.
Next up, let's tackle
Upstart, maybe.
Let's tackle. We just went through. Oh, you want to do Upstart? Yeah, we can do Upstart. I don't have the numbers for Upstart.
There's Upstart, and then there's a couple of people that were asking about Ring Central too, which I wasn't really having my eye on. But
well, let's get through these ones because I'm not sure. We can talk about Ring Central, and if you guys want to throw those numbers in, cool.
Okay.
Neo, loss of 30 cents, revenue 9.4 billion. Listen, they have revenue for as much as people dog them. They are going to have nearly $10 billion of revenue.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
What are your thoughts on this?
I think that the move down here today certainly gives it an opportunity. It's down 6%. Mm-hmm. If it holds up above $40, I think we're going to be in good shape. Looking at the earnings, though, I think that they could certainly surprise the upside. We've seen a lot of surprises on the automakers in general. Neo should fall in line with that. So I say that there's reason to be bullish here.
And the last one I'll bring, and then we can do Upstart, is Win. Loss of $1.29, revenue at 944 million. They could report $1 billion worth of revenue. This got beaten down off of Macau news. However, when you look at the revenue, their revenue is growing at a clip. And I'll be honest, if I was betting on any stock today to go off, it would be Win.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely potential here for it to do that.
And they also, while Penn was not given a license for New York, Win was granted a license for New York, FYI.
Close the day down 1%. The other thing is that we need to hear about the Macau issue. Were their earnings affected by that? And if so, by how much? And are they going to be expecting more problems in the future because of China being China? So definitely a lot that we'll have to wait and hear from them on with Wynn Resorts. The market is... Sorry, go ahead.
What do you mean by China being China? Wasn't it just the fact that Macau was just closed?
No, they were talking about regulating.
Oh, that's right.
Betting over Macau as well.
Yeah. Hopefully the opening of international travel is a conversation topic, and they provide some optimism around there. How much of that do you think that's built in? Because it literally, the sell-off was due to that Macau news.
It was brutal, yeah, for sure. So there is definitely a certain level of that's built in. But if they come out and give poor guidance on top of that in the future, then I think the stock is at risk for falling even further.
So Upstart, earnings per share estimates are 33 cents. Revenue 214 million. They've been beating, and they've been beating pretty handily. What are you expecting out of these earnings?
I think that they actually do continue to beat here. Stock actually
bold prediction.
Yeah,
they beat every time.
I know, but the stock's corrected enough to come down to the 50-day moving average, and it's been a monster. But I think that there's definitely some more room to upside, given that it's come down from $400 a share and corrected all the way down to $300.
I don't think Neo. I recall reported really late. I don't know if we're going to get to Neo. We might be off by that time, but we'll certainly keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Yes, we did talk about IPOF at the beginning of the show. Discord rumors. The rumors are back that Discord's the partner. We'll see what that happens.
Yep.
Oliver Thorpe, will Penn get a license for New York in the future, or is it not possible? Surprise, they limit them.
They will potentially get a license for New York, but here's the thing about New York. This is more or less a blessing in disguise. The more we looked into it, the more that we realized that they could bring in a ton of revenue, but they're going to get the shit taxed out of them. So I think Jay Snowden actually pointed this out in his earnings report as well, was talking about some of the platforms out there that spend a lot on marketing. They're not going to be able to do that as much as they had everywhere else in New York because of the tax implications that they're going to have to incur. So there's definitely headwinds in New York, even though it's a potentially great opportunity there.
Yeah, and to clarify, he more pointed out that he doesn't understand how they typically don't use a marketing like a basically an ad revenue model to push forward their business. They use their community with very limited marketing dollars. He doesn't understand how those other companies are going to be able to succeed. So basically his point was, listen, margins matter. And when we talk about net income, it matters. It'll be fine. Margins matter, net income matters. And so as far as that's concerned, he doesn't know how they're going to succeed. And he said, we could make money there, but it would be minuscule as far as the percentage margins as opposed to the other markets that they're in.
Yeah, for sure.
Nate says, coin going wild.
It is actually tanking right now. It's actually down 8% after hours. Reason to believe that obviously those numbers are probably in. It is early yet. We've seen moves like this before, and then things bounce back. So not really ready to bury this thing just yet. So we'll just wait on those numbers to come in. As soon as they come in, we'll certainly give a reaction to that. But it is down pretty considerably here after hours.
So they missed on earnings per share and on revenue. Estimates were $1.79. Earnings per share came in at $1.62.
Damn.
Revenue 1.56 billion, came in at 1.31.
So they missed on earnings and revenue.
Yep.
Wow. So pretty tough miss there. If we get guidance numbers, we'll certainly put those out. But in the meantime, we have Unity that's up 1.35% after hours. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of volume there. So I'm not going to write anything or not going to say anything about that just yet. But Upstart is up 4% and climbing here. Close the day at 313 is now up to $330 a share and continuing to go up here. Pretty solid move from Upstart. Shoo. That's a crazy move. Okay. Coinbase is still down and it's continuing to fall down. So maybe not. It's trying to hold around 8% down on the day. Plug Power is also down for now 6%. Can't keep up with that one either. So that one's down after hours. Coinbase is down after hours, missing revenue and their earnings per share. Fubo, it looks like a lot of these are getting released at once. Fubo is now up 3% as well.
Coinbase was the only thing I saw released so far. Fubo.
Yeah, Fubo's up 3%. Let's see here. Unity is still flat. Win is up around 1%. Doesn't look like we got much going on. Oh, maybe we do have something going on here on Win. Now making its way towards being up 2% after hours. Yikes. Upstart just made a huge U-turn. What the hell? Damn, that's crazy. So now that's down around 6% after hours and falling here. Fubo is still climbing here, bro. That thing is up now 6% after hours.
Nice.
So, guys, remember we talked about that earlier in the show. Looking at the daily chart, so it's sitting at $35 right now, which is right here at this resistance. I would venture to say that if we open above this, then this could probably have the potential to continue to rock and roll. Or if this does sell off at the beginning of the day tomorrow, we could see this come back and maybe retest this $35 area and act as a potential support. So watch for that area at $35. That's going to be a crucial spot for Fubo. But so far, this is rocking and rolling.
So they beat on earnings per share. A loss of 71 cents was the estimate, came in at a loss of 63, and pretty much came in line with revenue. A slight miss, 143.6 million, came in at 143.3 million.
So there you have it on Fubo. Stock is now pulling back a little bit. It's up 3%. Upstart is actually continuing to just get murdered here. It's now down 10% after hours.
Oh, I think Fubo went red. Oh, yeah, it did.
Fubo also went red. What the hell? Damn, this is crazy. And now Coinbase is down 11%. Jesus. Zero Blue Ox puts the plug power numbers in there. Looks like they came in at 19 cents or loss of 19 cents. Yeah, loss of 19 cents. They expected 9 cents. And they came pretty much right in line with sales, but missed it slightly. 143.92 million, and it was 143.93 that was estimated. They did raise their guidance, but it doesn't seem to be enough for people to come in and start buying plug up. It's still down around 4%. Vinay says a good market needs to pull back. Yeah, a little bit, but I think we still see this rally to year end. So 1 or 2 days, maybe even just this week. But I think that we continue to see it rock and roll. But
Win down 5%.
Yep, that is selling off here. Unity also down 10%. That was the one that I thought that was actually going to sell off, and it did. And Fubo's now down 10%.
Damn.
Holy shit. Upstart's down 15%. This is an ugly earnings session.
Wins numbers. They missed on earnings per share. Loss of $1.17, came in at a loss of $1.24. They did beat on revenue, just missed that $1 billion mark. This isn't good news. 987 million expected, came in at 995 million on revenue, so they beat. However, it looks like hold on. It looks like the CEO is leaving the company.
Of Win?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is not good news, obviously. Mixed. I'm getting mixed information because somebody's saying they beat on earnings per share. I don't know how much it matters anyway if the CEO is leaving. I think that's the big news, and that's going to be really tough to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I just saw Don say you should have done a market crash title and thumbnail. Yeah, I'll leave that to the big four. They can talk about a market crash today. Stock market goes up 11 days in a row, and now it's crash time. Oh man, Win is actually starting to claw its way back though. It's it was red down around 5%. It's actually starting to make its way back to maybe turn positive here. We'll keep an eye on that a little bit. Upstart though is still getting hammered, down 14%. Plug still down 4%. Unity's down 10%.
Damn.
Fubo's down 8.5%. Coinbase is starting to make its way back up slightly, but that was down around 12% at one point and is now only down around 9% after hours. This has been probably one of the ugliest earnings sessions that we've seen of this earnings season.
Yeah. And to clarify, it does look like Win did beat earnings per share by 5 cents. So depending on the estimate number, but they beat on revenue, they beat on earnings per share.
So at least that part of it was good.
January 31st, the CEO will be leaving, and Craig Billings, whoever that is taking over.
Yeah, I don't know Craig, but good luck, Craig. Or congrats, whatever you want it to be. Oh man. So if you guys are just tuning in, we got 270 of you guys hanging out. Hit that thumbs up If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, we got 55 likes, which is actually on the low side. So if we get that up over like a hundo, certainly would appreciate that. But we have covered quite a few earnings so far. We got Wynn Resorts. They came in and actually beat earnings. CEO announces that he's stepping down. That stock's actually about to turn green, and just saw a flash of green here after hours. We take a look at that chart, and it is now green. We'll see if it holds, but actually had a pretty decent bounce back there on some pretty good earnings. Upstart came in and shit the bed. That's sitting down 14.25%. Plug also missed earnings and slightly missed on revenue. They did raise their guidance, but this is still hanging down around 3% or so. Unity Software came in, and I don't remember those numbers. Did we have numbers on Unity yet?
Not sure.
Anyways, that's down around 8%, starting to turn around here, but we don't really quite have the numbers on that just yet. As soon as we do, we'll shoot them on over to you. Fubo TV came in and beat earnings, but I'm sorry, they missed earnings and then beat revenue. I got that backwards. They beat earnings and then missed revenue. That's down around 10%. And then Coinbase missed on earnings and revenue. That's down around 10% as well.
Have the numbers for Unity. They beat earnings per share. They came in line, a loss of 6 cents. Revenue, they beat 266 million were the estimates, came in at 286 million. They raised fiscal year revenue slightly. They raised guidance on revenue.
So I'm guessing this is definitely a case of sell the news. There's no reason it should be down 10% off of that. At least I wouldn't think so. So this might be an opportunity for Unity. We take a look at the daily. And right now, as we speak, it's sitting at 160. So that's 155, I think is what I was talking about earlier about maybe possibly retesting, but it's sitting at 160 right now. So perhaps it comes down just a little bit further. We'll see. But there seem to be pretty solid numbers as far as I'm concerned so far. So we'll continue to watch that. Vinay asked about Disney earnings. Those are actually tomorrow afternoon. We'll be live for those. DoorDash is today. I forgot about DoorDash. Forgot all about it. But yes, they are today. I'll take a look and see if there's anything reacting. Wynn Resorts just turned positive. It's now up 2.25%.
Nice.
DoorDash is flat right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they have earnings today. Wynn's still climbing here. Okay, Wynn. No Roblox equivalent today, says Rajiv. Yeah, no kidding. I didn't realize there was that many people watching Poshmark, but Poshmark, yeah, that's getting killed right now too. That's down 23%. Good God. That's not even worth looking at, I don't think. But yeah, DoorDash is down 0.5% right now. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of activity going on there just yet.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything in Twitterland on DoorDash. Earnings per share estimates 11 cents. Revenue 1.1 billion.
Those are the estimates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, checking back in on some of the other stuff that's already reported. Fubo is starting to bounce back a little bit. Looks like it kind of bottomed out at 28, and we talked about that 35 area. It briefly went up there and then made an immediate U-turn, starting to come back here, and looking good. Maybe we can start to see a green move on this as well, kind of like what we saw with Wynn, but we'll see. Poshmark's still getting killed here. If you guys are just tuning in, we covered Coinbase. That was the first one we covered. It came in and missed both on earnings per share and revenue. Don't have numbers on guidance or any kind of comments on that just yet. So those are just the very early numbers. So they actually missed, which is a little bit of a surprise. I was expecting them to beat. Thought that they would have ended up doing that, but they did not.
Sorry, say that again. I was
just talking about just my reaction to Coinbase.
Oh yeah,
and just how surprised I was that they missed on everything.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear about that, and I'm wondering. I wouldn't be surprised if it had a little bit of a comeback. I'm wondering how much of really this quarter. So we're in November. So this would have ended. I don't think this would have included October at all.
Yeah.
I think it would have been September, which I feel like July, August, September wasn't like, it was more sideways. Like I feel like the money started coming in towards the end of September.
Yeah.
Middle end of September.
That's fair.
So I wonder how much numbers or how much that is accounted for. But the guidance should be good for that though.
Correct. So that's what I was going to go to next. And actually we're getting ready to be at the session low here. Man, that's pretty bad. So looking at that was my next thought was like, okay, well, if the earnings were bad this quarter, but they give us an upbeat guidance for, the next year or the quarter that we're currently in. But I would imagine that whatever they said in the report was not what, did not make investors happy. And so that's why we're seeing this sell off. And now it just pushed right through that 315 area and now sitting at 313. It's now down at the low here since earnings were released. It's down over 12%. DoorDash is now making a move. Might as well just keep on going with the red train here. It's now down 8.5%. I tell you what, this earnings season, it's like if you come in solid, like people are buying the shit out of it. But if you miss, like you just get absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to miss by a lot. You just get crushed. It's kind of been the theme of this earnings season so far, but literally all of them have gotten smashed today.
Yeah. Well, except for apparently Ring Central,
which we did not cover yet today. RNG's ticker symbol there, that is up 13, 14, 15% now. It's still climbing.
CLPT up 8%. What's CLPT?
Do not know. ClearPoint? Not sure about that one. Looks like a biotech play. That's up 8%, but like no volume whatsoever.
Let's see. Ring Central.
That is up 15%.
Rajiv, are you in Ring Central? Alvin bought puts in Ring. Oof, not good.
Yeah, that sucks. That is the only earnings winner that I'm seeing right now today so far is Ring Central. Win Resorts actually beat on revenue and earnings per share, but that's flat on the day after reporting that their CEO is stepping down and will be no longer with the company after January 31st. Whew. This is probably one of the roughest earnings I've seen. Upstart's now down 20% after us. Fubo turned positive, bro.
What
a crazy ass move on Fubo.
Unbelievable.
It's now up almost 5%.
I was going to mention to you yesterday, I was like, I don't even know if there's a point to like do earnings reactions at 4:50. We almost might as well go live at 4:30 and then do from 4:30 to 5, because I feel like every time we go offline, it just changes.
Crazy shit happens.
Yeah. And I guess that probably is due to, you release your presentation, you release your numbers, and then you actually have the earnings call.
Right.
With where the analyst questions is where it matters. Right?
Yeah, but that doesn't happen till like 5:30.
No, I know. I mean, I'm more mocking it, but it's like,
yeah,
it's almost pointless. You got to take the initial 4:15 response with a grain of salt.
Yep. Ring Central still going nuts. It's up 17%. But Fubo's it's still going up. This is crazy.
That is absolutely insane.
Fubo comes in, guys. If you're just tuning in, Fubo comes in. They shoot up 5% and then just make an immediate U-turn, right? Goes all the way down to 28.50. That's the low. And then now starting to make its way back up again towards that $35 area. And it's green. It's just crazy. This thing's been all over the place here after hours. I think there's just a lot of digesting going on with those earnings.
Now it's red.
And now it's red. DoorDash too. DoorDash was down close to 10% and now making its way back up. So that was down to 174, 175, starting to make its way back up. Maybe some overreaction there. Coinbase still getting hammered too. That's down 14% now after hours. Yikes.
Dominique Swanks. Is Dominique new? I haven't, I'm saying Dominic. I don't think I've seen you before, bro. But question, I know people have asked us about Penn. Hey, Brad, Fat Man Zoom, I don't mean this is disrespect, but what about Penn earnings? Make you still bullish? I haven't started a position yet, but I might.
If you're not in Penn, I think this is actually a good spot to get into. If you have been in Penn for a while, I wouldn't be averaging down here just yet, but it's certainly a good place to get a starter. I mean, they still have good stuff going on. There's a lot of reasons to be bullish on the company, but they're going to be sitting here in a doghouse probably for the next quarter or two.
Yeah, I would encourage you to listen to the earnings or read the earnings transcript. I think the one thing that stood out would be path to profitability. So Jay Snowden, the CEO, had said that this year, if they wanted to, they could be profitable, but they chose not to because they chose to make investments.
I was going to say one of them being the score.
Yeah. So what he mentioned in the earnings was that, again, an analyst asked him this question about profitability. He actually pushed it back a year. So he pushed it back to 2023. And he said because of the score acquisition they thought it was too good of a deal to pass up. They thought it was similar to the benefits of the Barstool deal in that community. And they expect to dominate Canada. And I actually agree because we know about these restrictions with Canada, and it's different as far as outreach efforts and advertising efforts. So actually, if you have a community, you're in a competitive advantage position. So he mentioned profitability. I think that hurt them. That was one of the hits, is they moved profitability back a whole year.
Yeah.
Not good.
Right.
New York hurt them. Dave Portnoy scandal hurt them, which that's going to get cleared up. When that clears up, I think that brings it back. But those are the big things that hit them. However, what I will say, and he addressed how they're not doing as well in certain markets, but the markets that they start in the same starting position, they do well on.
Yeah.
Typically. However, what he did mention, and I'm most excited about, was it seems that they're actively looking for a property in Las Vegas. And that's what we need, Dominic. If we need anything, it's going to be that, because their competition, as far as online sports betting, is a longer term bet, and that's going to take time. They will end up gaining ground there, and they will end up being successful in there, but they are taking a more deliberate approach. But if they get a Vegas property, which they did not win out on the Cosmo, which is a great property, if they would have gotten that, that would have been insane. If they get a property there, that would be huge for them. Watch out, MGM Mirage. Are they a player in that opportunity? Yeah. I predicted that Wynn could buy it back, but if Penn gets that, I'm sure they're going to be in the running for that property.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that could be something that's big for them. People forget that this is actually a casino, world's largest regional casino, on top of the Barstool side of things. Going back to some of the earnings reactions here, DoorDash actually ended up turning green after being down around 8.5% here after hours. So that's looking good. There's probably something in that report, I'm sure, that would reflect maybe their guidance as a reason as to why it's starting to move up here. But we've seen some pretty wild shit here, guys. I got to say, I mean, Ring Central is a big winner here. It looks like they came in and crushed earnings. The stock is now up and holding its gains up around 15%. So pretty good stuff there. Coinbase comes in and misses both on earnings per share and revenue, and that's continuing to get beat down here. Now down 13.5%. Fubo can't make its mind up. It's now down 5% after a really crazy whirlwind of events. So we're just going to I guess we'll wake up tomorrow and figure out where the hell that's going. Unity came in. They didn't do all. They came in and beat earnings and revenue expectations, but the stock is down. I mentioned earlier in the show that this might have something to do with the fact that it's just run up so much, and this could be a sell the news type of situation. Plug Power actually ended up missing earnings and revenue altogether. Upstart still getting hammered, now down 20%. Wynn Resorts is flat. They beat earnings per share and revenue, but their CEO stepping down, will be no longer with the company by beginning of next year. Ring Central still going nuts. That thing's crazy.
Joe Leonard, did you boys have any thoughts on Palantir after earnings? I'll be honest, and I need to dig into the earnings a little bit further.
Yeah.
But sort of like the data that I've looked at so far, I think Palantir is just going to be fine. So there was some concerns about government contract slowdown, which is kind of ironic because the concerns a couple quarters ago was around commercial.
Yeah.
Commercial doing really well. I mean, they lost one fairly big contract, but replaced it with a contract 3 times bigger. So like, I'm not worried about Palantir if I'm being honest. It was a pretty drastic sell-off, but like I got to look further into the earnings. I don't know what could have caused this type of move.
Yeah, the stock is closed down today around 9%. It's down another 0.5% after hours. I think this is actually a huge opportunity for Palantir as well. Watch for this around 23 support, but I think that Palantir looks good. Looks like a good opportunity as far as I'm concerned. Guys, there's a lot of you hanging in here and getting reacting to the earnings along with us. Hit that thumbs up. Also subscribe if you're not already. We always get like a lot of new folks that come in during earnings. So if you are new to the channel, we actually do this every time earnings come around. So we're here all week. We're giving our reactions at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Thursday. We give our live reactions to earnings that come out. We got tomorrow, a really big day on the docket for tomorrow. I know Disney is certainly one that I'm watching. I have a position in Disney, so I'm looking forward to those earnings tomorrow afternoon. What else we got on the docket here?
Yeah, tomorrow after hours is going to be good. We have SoFi, Disney, Wish, Affirm, Open Door, Beyond Meat, Tattoo Chef. But yeah, I mean, a lot of good stuff. I know a lot of you in the Chaos crew are in Affirm. Should be very interesting, that reaction and where that goes. Could this thing get to $200 a share? I mean, this is just crazy. This is unbelievable to move on that.
Yeah.
But SoFi, I know Wish one didn't have a great earnings last time, but we'll see how that comes back this time.
Yeah. I'm a little. I gotta be honest. I'm nervous about Affirm, but we'll give some more commentary on that tomorrow with Affirm. I love Affirm. I loved it at $60. I still love the company. I'm not sure I love the price all the way up here. It's pretty wild stuff, but we'll certainly give our reactions to that and maybe some follow up on IPOF. If you guys didn't catch at the top of the show, I actually ended up getting a position in IPOF. Fat Man Zoom's been in it for a while. There's some rumors flying around about maybe this Discord thing acquisition being a real thing, but we'll certainly give you guys some more context on that as we find out more about this rumor. And that's going to do it for us, guys. Hit that thumbs up on your way out the door. We certainly would appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time to go over all those crazy earnings and then some. And that's it.
Yeah. So one more thing. Greg, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're probably subscribing. Just hit the subscribe button. But more importantly,
push the button.
You hit the notification bell. That's the most important piece to this whole thing. So yeah, guys, do that. And again, that thumbs up. Don't hurt nobody to press the thumbs up. Bye.
It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. See you guys.